mycar.com. It took about a week to come in after ordering. I think that's pretty fair considering the place you ordered it from is in Canada. We're located in Pennsylvania. So considering I had to go through customs and everything, I think that's fair amount of time for delivery. This is the Blackvue 650. It's a 2-channel dash cam. It also came with a Blackvue PowerMagic Pro, which we'll get more into later. But basically what it is it allows for you to leave your dash cam plugged in at all times and not kill your battery. So we'll show you how to wire this in here later, but you can plug it in to this cigarette outlet then, which you'll basically install into your car, and it'll keep you from draining your battery with it being plugged in all the time. You could plug it into a cigarette lighter you already have in the car. If it's one that's on all the time, you risk killing your battery. If it's one that's not on all the time, then you will lose the parking record function where this offers. So let's go ahead and open it up here. Alright. These are the 2 cameras. As you can see, it's a front and back camera. That's what's very nice about this setup compared to some of the other ones on the market. It's one of the only 2 channels available, so you can record both front and rear video. This comes in great handy considering it's great to have a forward-facing camera. It doesn't help you when you get rear-ended. It also doesn't help you if someone's tailgating you and whatever else the case may be, accidents that happen behind you. So this camera here, this is going to be the rear camera. It's very small. I think it'll look great in the back window, probably almost even unnoticeable, which is good. Especially the car we're going to be putting it in is a 2015 Dodge Challenger, and the back window isn't that big to begin with. So to put a larger camera in there would just hurt your view immensely. This one here is the front camera. So it has a lock here. This allows you to angle the camera however you want, which will be very nice. You can get a really good picture on it, pointed at the right angle you want. Has a lens cover. I don't think you'll need any use for that after shipping, but it is there if you need it, if you're going to pack it up or whatever the case may be. This one has a kind of a neat feature, which we'll talk about more later, but this here is actually a sensor you can wave once it's plugged in to turn on and off voice recording, which is kind of nice. On this side you have your power plug-in, you have your feed to the rear camera, turns Wi-Fi on and off so you can use the app, and then underneath here is where your SD card would go in. So it's a nice little package. It's small. The only thing that I notice as of now is that you can't pivot left to right with the camera. We'll see if that ends up being any kind of issue or not. I know on some of the other cameras I've tested, it was nice to be able to give it a quick turn to the left or a quick turn to the right if you wanted to see something in that direction. So we'll see. I do like the mount though. It's very small. It's going to keep it nice and close to the windshield, and I think it'll hide nicely behind the rearview mirror. Let's see what else came in here. So we got some extra mounts here. It's actually nice. It's got a so it looks like you have 2 extra mounts, or 2 extra adhesives for your mounts, front and back camera. You have some nice adhesive pieces to run your wire. Keep it up out of the way. I don't think we're going to need them. I haven't needed them for any of the other ones yet. You can usually tuck it in behind your headliner. Then it looks like it also came with a nice micro SD to USB adapter, which come in handy for downloading video clips if you don't have a micro SD card reader already. So that's kind of a neat little function. This right here is going to be your wire between your front and rear camera. This connection is going to carry your video, your power, everything between your front and rear camera. It's plenty long enough. I don't think that'll be an issue to get you front and back on any car. Maybe, we'll see how much it is once we get out there, but maybe like if you had a very large SUV, Chevy Tahoe, or Expedition, Cadillac Escalade, might be a stretch with those ones. And then of course we have the power cord. This one actually has a fusible link in it, which is nice. This protects your car if there's ever a short. Most of them actually don't have that, so that's a nice feature to protect your vehicle. Looks like it's going to be plenty long enough. Most of them are. I've never had one that was too short yet. They all have plenty of distance for you to get from your camera down and around and hide everything well. And then of course you have your two guides here. The only thing I'll say about this one already that maybe, I don't know if it's a downfall. A lot of the other cameras I've dealt with in the past have had or came with an SD card. This one does not have one. I think you can order it with one if you want. I can't say that it's necessarily a negative thing. You're going to need one, and this one actually you're probably going to need quite a large size SD card. We'll have to look through here and see what the highest one is, but I would recommend at least a 64 for this. I think it might be all it handles. We'll have to look, but considering you're running both front and rear, typically with a full HD camera like this, we've been getting 8 hours out of a 32 gig SD card, so I figure two cameras break that in half, you're not getting 4 hours out of it, so 64 will bring you back up to 8 hours. So again, this is everything it comes with: micro SD adapter, your cables, the camera. Obviously this isn't in English. There we go. Front camera, power cord, mounting bracket tape, SD card reader, rear camera connection, rear camera. Now this one does say micro SD card. I didn't see it in here, so we'll look through everything again, but I didn't see one. Yeah, I definitely don't see one. So we'll give a call to blackboxmycar.com, but I didn't think it said this one came with one, so we'll see. It might be, sometimes they tape them in here on the insides of things and I don't find them till later. Shows you some of your functions here. Camera lens, which we already talked about. Lock button makes it a little bit harder to turn. I don't know if I'd call it a lock button because it still turns even without pushing the lock button, but I think it more locks it just from coming off here. Just going to take your mount off. You have your Wi-Fi LED, which is going to be right here. Your mic on and off button, which, like I said, you can wave. That's a pretty neat feature. Your rear one, you also have an LED on it when you're recording. It's going to be right here. I don't know if I'll like that function or not. It's on the back side, so it'll be nice for you to have that visual from inside the car, but to me, I like not being able to see that from the outside that it's recording, so hopefully it won't be too visible, but being on the back side, I think it'll be okay. I don't want people to see that it's recording and want to smash my window and take it out. So it also comes with its own viewing app, which is really nice. You can download it right on your phone, have access to everything. This goes over exactly how you can run the wiring. That's typically what I do. I tuck it in along your headliner, down your A-pillar. You can usually tuck it in right behind all that stuff, and then in behind the glove box and to wherever you're going to mount it. Now, like I said, this one's going to come with this PowerMagic Pro, so we can pretty much mount our 12-volt power source anywhere we want to run it. I will say this is the only camera that we've tested that had that 12-volt PowerMagic. The rest of them you've had to plug into your car directly, and we haven't killed our battery because we know what we're doing, but it keeps us from recording while it's parked, so that's kind of a downside to that, but having it on this one would be nice. So we'll go ahead and test that as well. Basically prevents car battery from discharging when low voltage occurs, and you can select a shutdown threshold for the voltage, which is also a plus. So we'll go ahead and get this mounted in the vehicle. We'll show you where we mounted it, how we mounted it, how we ran everything. Okay, so we have the Blackvue installed. If you look here, actually this is me seated in the front seat. This is right where my head would be. You can't see it in your field of view at all. You can see the one in the rear view mirror. That's the back camera, which, as you can see, it doesn't take up much space. It's very small. It has a nice little light on it to let you know that it's working. The front one, you actually have to bend down pretty far. I mean, I'm even with the steering wheel here for you to be able to see it. It hides real nicely and mounts real easy. The wires we could have actually even done better here, but didn't need to. I can't see them at all. It doesn't bother anything. They run right up inside then across your headliner. They tucked in real easy right here. No issues at all. We ran them along the side in this headliner, around to the back. They then go down this back pillar here into the trunk for power, which we'll show you in a minute, and across the top here to the rear camera. Some of the nice features that we've liked in this, the Wi-Fi light here lets you know the Wi-Fi is on. You can connect your phone to it, download videos, make adjustments to the camera, the settings, review videos. You can't live view, which I really didn't have an issue with at all because you shouldn't be live viewing the camera anyway. But one thing I did like about it is the vents on it. Anytime that you have a heavy acceleration or deceleration, it stores it as an event rather than a regular clip. The nice thing about this is we use this car for some drag racing events and things, and it automatically logs those races as events, and that's because of the G-forces it takes when we take off the line. So anyone that's using this for any type of automotive sports, it's great. If you're using it just as a general camera, it's just as good because it's going to log any accident or any close accident or anything as an event. It's easy for you to review. So Wi-Fi light, if you wave your hand,
audio recording disabled.
That quick to turn the audio off. You don't have to touch it, just hold your hand in front of it.
Starting audio recording.
Turns audio on and off. So I've always left it on. The audio is pretty good. If you have the windows down, there's not much you can do about it. I mean, the wind noise is just eats up the sound quality completely. But with the windows up, it picks up the engine noise of the car well. You can carry on a conversation inside the car with no problems whatsoever. On the other side here, you have a button to turn on and off your Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi off.
So it's nice. It talks to you, lets you know what it's doing. Has parking mode, which is my favorite thing on this vehicle's camera. We've tested a lot of other cameras, and the parking function is not even close to what this camera's parking function is. As soon as you park the car, it sits, it'll go into parking mode. It's that smart to know when you turn it off, it goes into parking mode. That's based off the Power Pro, which we'll show you in the back in a second. When it's powered that way, it goes into motion recording. So if somebody walks in front of your car, it comes on, it records you being parked. Same thing with the rear, it picks up anything in behind. So if somebody walks around your car, keys it, most likely you're going to catch them. If somebody hits your car, most likely you're going to catch them. That to me is more important almost than being able to record while driving. If you have an accident while driving with somebody, chances are there's another witness. But if somebody hits your car, a parking lot, parking garage, you have no recourse most of the time. Someone's just going to drive away, and that's it. So we'll get out here and show you the where it's hooked up in the back, and show you what it looks like from the outside. So walk around to the front here. You can see you do get a blinking light when it's recording. Some people might like that. Some people might not. I like it. It lets people know, hey, I'm watching you. So if they do anything, they know they're going to be on camera. The back one, we have tinted windows, so actually you can't even see the back one in this car whatsoever. I mean, it's impossible to see. It does see out just fine. There's no issues with being able to see out of the car. You just can't see in. Pardon my messy trunk. We use this for a lot of automotive events and things. So down here, wires came right in through that pillar. They run right down here. As you can see, this is the PowerMagic Pro. So it's got this box, which allows you to turn power on and off. You can make setting changes. I'm trying to get it to zoom in here for you. Of course, it doesn't want to focus, but you can make setting changes on it to decide how long you want it to record, or sorry, how long you want it to power before turning itself off. So I have this set to 11.8 volts. The nice thing about it is if I leave my car parked for, let's just say, a week at a time and the battery starts to drain, this will disconnect the camera so it doesn't kill my battery. So I don't have to worry about unplugging it. It's literally put it in and never worry about it again. And then you just have your cigarette lighter outlet that comes back here. Simple to wire in. It's 2 wires, one to battery, one to ground, and sorry, a third one that will then go to your basic ACC. So when your car turns on, we wired it right into the fuse box, which is here in the trunk. Took all about 5 minutes, and we haven't had to touch this thing in months. It's great. So we'll go ahead and do some more recording. We'll show some videos from some track events we had. Most of them were drag racing events. Now you can see the light came on there in the rear view camera because it picked up motion, which is nice. And actually more than the motion, what it probably picked up was me shutting the trunk and the vibration, which is what picks up when you have accidents. So it's very nice. We like it. Definitely one of my favorite cameras that I have tested so far. And we'll show you some video now and see what you think. Alright, so let's go over a couple things. Camera's installed. As you can see, front camera works great. Rear camera is great as well. One of the features that I really enjoy is, and it's probably one of the best features, other than having 2 cameras, one of the best features of this setup is the fact that it records while parked. There's a lot of people going around vandalizing cars, breaking into cars, stealing things. I mean, it's hit and runs. There's hit and runs all the time. Having this record when parked is probably the best feature. And there's some other cameras I've tested that had parking mode that caused a lot of glitches. In fact, the last one I tested, very well-known camera, well-known company. The camera worked great. I was specifically told by the company to not use parking mode because it has issues. So my question is, why would you release a camera that has issues? That one, when you would put it in parking mode, it would, when you come to a stop at a stop sign, it would turn itself off and go based off motion. that can obviously cause issues. An accident could happen right then, you miss it because your camera was switching into parking mode. No, this camera's perfect. You park, when you turn the engine off, it will go into a parking mode. There's no momentary lapse, there's no missing information. It'll go into parking mode, and based off motion or jolts to your vehicle, such as like somebody backing into it, things like that, it'll record. There's no better parking mode that I've seen on any camera I've tested, and I've tested quite a few. As far as sound quality, this is me talking in a normal tone of voice. No issues there. It picks up everything just fine. Radio distorts it. Let's see if I can find something on here quick.
Days this week.
Friendship turns to a bond, and that bond will never be broken. The love will never get lost.
So that's just whatever happened to be on the radio, but you can tell that wasn't very loud. That was at about what I normally listen to music at driving around. So it distorts it a little bit, but the audio to me isn't a selling factor on any camera. Also, here's wind noise. So this is about 40 mile an hour, windows down, and you can see it definitely disrupts the microphone a little bit. But, you know, all in all, the microphone means nothing to me. I use it when I race just to pick up the audio of the engine itself. I do like being able to hear that, you know, engine noise on my racing videos, which is great. It picks that up no problem. Don't mind that beeping. That's my active braking in this car. It warns you if you're closing in on a vehicle too closely, it thinks, and you haven't hit the brakes yet. Kind of annoying sometimes, but I haven't turned it off because I want it to save me someday, and it might. Anyway, so audio quality is good. I'll try to get on it once here, and you can hear the engine a little bit. So you can see it picks up the engine noise well, the exhaust note. The camera, to the camera itself now. So front camera, I haven't found a better designed front camera yet. It sits right in behind my mirror. I don't notice it at all when driving. The rear camera, I have a very small rear window in this car. It's a 2015 Challenger. So there's not a whole lot of room back there to start putting stuff in front of my view. But this camera has not been in my way at all, ever. I have it mounted right up against the third brake light. As you saw earlier, you can't see it back there, but it doesn't affect me while driving at all. It's not really in my field of view for the most part. Tags, as you can see, they're perfectly easy to read. You can also zoom in on them in software if you need to, but I haven't really had that need. I'm able to see everything just fine. As far as field of view, so here my front end is even with this car next to me right now, so you can see how much of that car you can still see. If we were driving down the road, here's another one, front ends are even. If we were driving down the road, or someone threw something out that window right now, whatever the case may be, if they swerved into this lane, you'd see that swerve. Here's another plate, front plate, which we don't have here many in PA. Road signs picks up well. License plates it picks up very well. Even on the highway, I'm able to pick up plates no problem. The video quality is good enough for me to use on my race events, things like that. Post them up on YouTube or any of my other pages that we use. The safety factor of this camera being front and rear. That's the biggest point to this camera to me. Most cameras are just a front-facing camera. How many times have you needed or wish you had a rear one? You may not think about it right now, but there's how many rear-end accidents, how many people tailgate, how many people drive behind you acting crazy. I mean, the list goes on. One of the main reasons I got this camera, if not the main reason, was because of that rear camera. Also, the rear camera is great for racing events that I use it for. Some of you may be looking to use it for that, autocross, drag racing, etc. You can get the video of cars, dropping back as you're beating them in a drag race, gaining on you as they're coming up in a drag race, autocross events, seeing cars coming up behind you trying to pass, things like that. You won't get that out of a normal forward-facing camera. Video quality, great. It's right there with my GoPro, which is the standard almost right now for portable video quality. I haven't even really used my GoPro since I got this camera, to tell you the truth. Sometimes I put it on the outside of my car for some different angled shots, things like that. But the quality is about the same. I'll say the GoPro might have more vivid colors, but I think the colors in this are more true. And most software now, video software, if you want to brighten the colors up, make them more vivid, you can do that with a click of a button. But this, you install it, you set it up the way you want, and you're done. You never have to touch it again. You don't have to mount the camera. You don't have to change the settings. You don't have to mess with it at all. That's the great thing about these. The other thing is the fact of the software that's built into this. So I can log in my phone right now, connect to my camera, and download any video. Say there was an accident right now, this car on the right pulls out, hits this guy. I can instantly connect to my Wi-Fi, download it, and email it to the police, email it to one of the other drivers, both the drivers, or upload it if there's something else that I wanted a video of. Maybe a bird jumps in front of my car, fall eyes, I guess, whatever. A dog runs in front, whatever the case may be, something that you want to see, maybe people on the side of the road acting a fool, whatever the case may be, you can download that clip instantly, or bikes riding on the wrong side of the road coming around corners. You can download that clip onto your phone without ever moving the camera, not pulling the stick out, not doing anything. Just download right to your phone, move on. The video itself, you do need an extra SD card, or a bigger SD card, I would think it's better to say. The SD card that comes with it just isn't big enough. There's no two ways about it. And the SD card that comes with any video camera or dash cam is never big enough. So, being that it's two cameras, obviously you need double the space. I mean, it's just the way it is. We've been mostly using a 64 gig. Works great. I get a little over 24 hours of recording, and that is based off the parking mode as well, which eats up a lot of recording. Because when I'm parked, there's constantly cars driving by, people walking past, trees blowing in the background, whatever the case may be that's causing motion. That's eating up storage space. But to me, having the parking mode available in case somebody keys my car, breaks into the car, backs into the car, whatever the case may be, it's much better to have that footage. So I'll sacrifice the recording time for that in a heartbeat. So a quick recap. Bad things about the camera, if you can say they're bad. Uses a lot of storage space, but you got two cameras, so it's going to use storage space. Nothing much you can do about that. It's also HD recording. It's going to use a lot of space anyway. Another bad thing, which I don't even know if it's a bad thing. I thought it was a bad thing at first. I'll kind of leave it up to you. The clip size goes from 1 minute to 3 minutes. That's the biggest clip you can get is 3 minutes. I was used to some of the other cameras I used, which were 10 and 12 minute clips. At first, I didn't like that this was only 3 minutes. Now that I'm used to it, it's easier for me to go through a clip, and the first, image that pops up on that clip, I'm able to tell if it's the clip I'm looking for or not. So I think what may have been a negative at first now probably is a positive. Let's see, what else negatives? That's really all I can think of. Pluses, I would say the design of the cameras is great. They're small, they're compact, but they function perfectly. The front and rear camera, great option. After having this, I would never go back to a single camera, just a front. Other good things, the software built in to be able to download everything to your phone, make all the changes. The app is great. It's so much better than having to pull the camera out of the car and plug it in, your computer, pull the SD card out and having to plug it in and download it. This is just instantaneous. What else? The angle, the wide angle on the front lens is great. The back camera patches everything I want it to. As you can see, my back camera, there's some lines across it. It's just the way it is. I have a rear defroster in this car, so it's mounted right where the lines are. Hasn't really affected anything as far as viewing. It doesn't really bother me, but just if you see those lines, that's what it is. That's all. I mean, it's a great camera. It is definitely the best I've tested, and I've tested quite a few. The pluses of this are what takes it above all the other cameras, and really the minuses of this aren't really minuses. It's just, the fact that it's a camera and it takes up space. That's what it does. So if you're in the market for a camera of any kind, even if it's not this one, give blackboxmycar.com a call. Their staff is very good. They won't sell you the camera that's not right for you. They're not there to sell the most expensive camera to you. They're there to get you the camera that you need. So if you're not in the market for a front and rear, or even if you are, there's other ones out there that they carry. I just haven't tested them yet. But if you're in the market, give blackboxmycar.com. You can find them online. You can give them a call. Contact them. They'll get the right camera for you, or you can look through all their information and find the one that's right for you yourself. This camera, Blackvue, front and rear. If it was my option and I were you, this is the one I would get. I love it. No issues whatsoever with it. And I know this is the camera that will be staying in my car. Even if I test other ones in the future, this is definitely going to be the camera that I keep for my cars that I drive all the time. So check it out. I'll put a couple videos on after this. You guys can look at it, some racing things. And if I happen to come across any videos of close accidents behind me, I'll put them up on there too. But check it out. You can see the links at the bottom, blackboxmycar.com. And hope you enjoyed the video.